Welcome, travelers, to Adventures of Security. In this video, we explore how to defend against malware. You can download the video script from the link below. Malware only wins when it can enter your environment, execute code, and remain long enough to cause damage. So we manage it across a lifecycle. We prevent common installation paths, detect quickly when something slips through, contain to stop spread, eradicate to remove the root cause and persistence, recover business operations safely, and then improve so the same trick doesn't work twice. The big idea is simple. Speed and discipline reduce impact. Faster detection means smaller blast radius. Better containment means fewer systems touched, and thorough eradication means it doesn't come back next week. Keep that life cycle in mind. We'll use it as our map for every slide that follows. Let's start with installation. How malware lands and runs. The most common path is still phishing. An email attachment, a link to a fake login page, or a booby-trapped archive file. Attackers also use drive-by downloads and malvertising, where simply visiting a compromised site triggers suspicious downloads or redirects. Another major route is exploitation. If your browser, PDF reader, VPN, or internet-facing system is unpatched, attackers can execute code without the user's help. And finally, credential theft. If they steal a password or session token, they can log in and push tools that look legitimate, like remote access software. Notice the pattern. Attackers choose whatever requires the least resistance. That's why prevention has to reduce the number of easy paths into your environment. Here's the first prevention principle. Assume something will land. Your job is to stop it from running. Application allow listing is powerful because it flips the default. Only approved software can execute. Pair that with tighter controls on scripting engines like PowerShell and WMI, which attackers love because they're built-in and often trusted. For Office macros, treat enable content as a high-risk action. Disable macros by default, and only allow sign macros for specific business needs. Finally, least privilege is non-negotiable. If users don't have local admin rights, malware has a harder time installing drivers, disabling security tools, or persisting. For admins, use just-in-time access and constrained admin sessions, so elevated privileges exist only when needed and only for approved tasks. Now let's talk about high-risk attachments. This is where a lot of infections begin. At the email gateway, block executable and script-based attachment types like exe, js, vbs, scr, and lnk. Also watch disk image formats like ISO and IMG, because attackers use them to bypass simple attachment filters. For archives, don't just scan the outer zip. Scan inside and set policies for password-protected archives, since they can hide malware from scanners. For unknown attachments and suspicious links, use detonation or sandboxing. Open them in a safe environment and observe behavior before delivering to a user. And always validate file types. An attacker can rename a script to invoice.pdf. Use MIME and content inspection, and consider content disarm and reconstruction to strip active content when it's not needed. For a more detailed look at content disarm and reconstruction, view my video at the link below. Prevention also means hardening the environment so exploits don't work. Strong patch management is the simplest high ROI control, especially for browsers, Office, Java, VPNs, and edge devices. Next, endpoint detection and response, EDR, should be deployed broadly with tamper protection so malware can't just shut it off. On the network side, segmentation limits spread. Workstations shouldn't talk freely to servers, and production systems shouldn't accept random lateral connections. Add egress filtering so endpoints can't call out to any internet destination. This disrupts command and control traffic. And of course, MFA. Make it universal, but especially strong for privileged users. For admins, aim for phishing-resistant MFA like FIDO2 or certificate-based methods, because attackers specifically target admin sessions to scale impact. Detection is about recognizing behavior, not just matching a known signature. Good EDR detections look for suspicious process chains, for example, Office spawning PowerShell, or a browser launching a script engine. Another set of signals is persistence. Malware wants to survive reboots, so it creates scheduled tasks, new services, startup entries, or registry run keys. Network data matters too. Many infections beacon back to a command server at regular intervals, use unusual DNS patterns, or connect to rare IPs and domains never seen in your environment. And don't forget, people. User reports like "my computer is slow" or "I got a strange MFA prompt" can be early warning. Treat help desk trends as security telemetry. The key is correlation. One alert can be noise, but multiple aligned signals are a strong indicator of compromise. Once you suspect malware, you triage, fast but structured. First, confirm, do we have real malicious behavior? Or is this a legitimate admin tool? Then scope, list affected endpoints, user accounts, IPs, and any shared infrastructure touched. Next, classify severity. Ransomware and data theft demand immediate containment, while low-grade adware might allow more measured response. Also look for privilege escalation. If the attacker gained admin or domain privileges, assume wider compromise. Finally, make a decision. Do we isolate immediately, or do we observe briefly to learn more? The default for high-impact threats is isolate now. For lower severity events, a short observation window can help identify the command server or the initial infection vector, but you must time-box it. Triage is where you set the pace and prevent chaos. Containment means freeze the incident so it can't grow. Start by isolating affected endpoints. Most EDR tools support network containment, or you can quarantine via the network. Next, handle identity. Disable compromised accounts and revoke active sessions, because attackers often persist through tokens even after password changes. Then block known indicators across your defenses: domains, IPs, file hashes, and malicious email senders, while remembering that attackers can rotate infrastructure quickly. Also protect your crown jewels. Tighten access to file servers, domain controllers, backup systems, and admin tooling. If ransomware is a risk, validate backups are offline or immutable, and that backup credentials are separate. Containment is not the end. It's buying you time. The goal is to prevent lateral movement and data loss while you prepare a clean eradication plan. Eradication is where you stop the infection from returning. Start by finding patient zero, the first compromised host or account. Without that, you'll miss the root cause and get reinfected. Next, remove persistence mechanisms. Scheduled tasks, services, startup entries, malicious browser extensions, and any newly created accounts. For many cases, especially ransomware or credential theft, the safest approach is reimaging systems from a trusted gold image rather than trying to clean them. If a system held sensitive data or elevated credentials, treat it as high risk. Then close the gap, patch the vulnerability, fix misconfigurations, and update controls that allowed execution. Finally, rotate credentials, API keys, and secrets that may be exposed. Eradication isn't complete until both the malware and the conditions that enabled it are gone. Recovery is not turn it back on and hope. Before reconnecting systems, validate their clean, EDR health checks, baseline scans, and configuration validation. When restoring data, use known good backups and test for integrity. Attackers sometimes try to poison backups or leave sleeper persistence. As you bring services back, increase monitoring, turn up logging, create watch lists for the incident's indicators, and set stronger alerting thresholds for a few weeks. Many organizations use a 2 to 4 week heightened monitoring window to catch reinfection attempts. Communication matters too. Keep IT and security aligned. Brief leadership on business impact and next steps, and involve legal or compliance teams when appropriate, especially if data exposure is possible. And don't forget users. Clear guidance reduces rumor and helps you gather new signals if suspicious activity returns. The incident isn't truly over until you've improved the system. Run a lessons learned review with a focus on facts: what control failed, what detection worked, and what steps were slow or confusing. Then translate that into action. Tighten allow listing rules, adjust high-risk attachment blocks, and update detection logic based on what you actually observed. Next, improve readiness. Write or refine playbooks so the next response is faster, and run tabletop exercises so teams practice decisions before the next real event. Make sure incident responders have the access they need securely so you don't waste an hour requesting permissions during an emergency. Finally, track metrics like time to detect, time to contain, number of systems impacted, and recovery time. Metrics aren't for blame, they're how you prove improvement. Let's close with a practical checklist. Prevention. Implement allow listing where feasible, lock down macros and scripting, block high-risk attachment types, and keep patching disciplined, especially for internet-facing systems. Detection. Make sure EDR coverage is broad, logging is centralized, and users know how to report suspicious emails and prompts. Correlate across endpoint, identity, email, and network signals. Containment. Isolate infected machines quickly. Disable or restrict compromised accounts. Block known bad infrastructure, and protect backups and privileged systems from being used against you. Eradication. Identify patient zero, remove persistence, prefer reimaging for high-risk systems, and rotate credentials and keys that could be exposed. If you can do these steps consistently, malware becomes an incident you manage, not a catastrophe you endure. That's it for this video. If you learned anything, please remember to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And until next time, be careful what you click.